Everyone's heard warnings about the freshman 15. But wait, what exactly is the freshman 15? Freshman 15 is an expression commonly used that refers to an amount of weight gained during a student's first year at college. Why is it called the freshman 15? The Atlantic magazine describes the expression to be a folklore, a traditional belief, and a myth in society. The expression is known perhaps more for its alliterative allure rather than its scientific veracity. In other countries, the first-year weight gain is known as the more vague, first-year fatties, the more accurate, fresher 5, or in the case of Australia, the more explicit-sounding, fresher spread. In America, first-year weight gain was originally known as the freshman 10, and it was presumably adjusted upwards as Americans got bigger.
But is it true that every first-year student will pack on a set number of 15 pounds? In a meta-analysis, it demonstrated that students gained an average of 7.5 pounds and not 15 pounds. Freshman weight gain is an issue, with almost two-thirds of students gaining weight faster than the general population. Okay now, why does this happen? What's behind new college students' weight gain? Some of the underlying factors that play in the freshman 15 include 1. New eating habits. When you're living with your parents, what and how much you eat are typically already planned for you. But when you're in college, you're given the freedom to select from an unlimited number of choices. If you want to make a diet out of fast food, chips, soft drinks, and pizza at 3 a.m., feel free. We won't tell your mom, and no one can stop you. But careful not to get too excited. Several weeks of this can cause quick weight gain. Other eating habits include eating late at night and eating snack food. Oftentimes, students find themselves naturally staying up later to study or party, and hunger may sneak up on you. The main problem with this is that you don't stay awake long enough afterwards to burn off the calories, and they end up being stored as fat. 2. Not enough exercise. Sure, trekking from class to class can be a workout, but it's not enough to keep you trim. Many students find themselves overwhelmed by the pressures of deadlines and stresses of workloads. This results in the accumulated negligence of regular exercise as students feel there's less time to commit in other physical activities. This can be a big factor in the 15. 3. The difficulties of transitioning. During the middle school and high school years, most teens are living with their parents, meaning that lifestyle habits such as cooking and household cleaning are generally preset and considered the responsibilities of the parents. But once students are left alone in college is when most realize that their skills in home economics are severely insufficient. Many students entering college do not know how to cook, contributing to the cause of weight gain as they are pressured to seek for all their alternatives. And where does this happen? It can happen anywhere. It's happening right here. It is evident that first-year students living on campus gain more weight than first-year students living off campus. It can be hypothesized that due to this prevalence of unhealthy foods in resident cafeterias and the high prices of healthful options such as fresh fruits and vegetables in the salad bar. Fresh foods are priced by weight, and students can often perceive them as a risky buy, especially when they are trying to stretch their meal plan budget to the end of the school year. The University of Western Ontario has 9 on-campus residences, which houses several thousand students each year. Serving the students effectively and with cost efficiency is especially important when there are such high volumes of people to feed. This can result in many of these students following an unhealthy diet due to the types of foods resident cafeterias tend to offer, leading to weight gain and poor academic performance. How prevalent is the freshman 15 phenomenon in schools? In a meta-analysis conducted, researchers found that gaining weight in the first year of university is not uncommon and on average. The most common amount of weight gain is in fact around 7.5 pounds throughout the academic year. 9.3% of the first-year undergraduates gained 15 pounds. The same study concluded that 61% of students overall had gained weight since starting university. In another study, when measuring body composition changes in first years, male and female students increased their body fat by about 1.3% and 0.7% respectively. It's interesting to note that male students who gained weight during their study reported a decrease in physical activity, but female students had gained weight despite an increase in exercise. In general, males had gained more weight than girls. Students entering college with higher BMIs may be at a greater risk for weight gain. The research also indicated that students living on campus had greatly decreased their consumption of fruits and vegetables. 53% of students also stated that they had decreased their amount of physical activity since post-secondary education began. When looking at the perceived barriers associated to weight management, students identified lack of physical activity, poor food choices, lack of discipline, and boredom to be contributing factors. Social activities such as the consumption of alcohol were also perceived to be barriers. Other factors contributing to poor weight management were lack of time, lack of healthy food options in dining halls, and the high costs associated with healthy foods. We interviewed 3 Western students about their experience with their resident cafeteria. Our pool of interviewees consisted of 3 participants. The first was Sylvie Nguyen, a first-year student living in Medway Sydenham Hall. The second was Chris Tam, a second-year student that lived in Perth Hall last year. And the third was Susie Blaney, a fourth-year student who lived in Elgin Hall in first year. Let's see what they said. The first question we asked the group was, what did or do you think of the food choices in your cafeteria? Sylvie answered, I'm vegan and I can barely eat anything in the cafeteria. MedSit provides us with a small salad bar, but they serve minimal meat alternatives, so I mostly have to buy food outside my cafeteria, which is such a pain. Chris said, overall, our cafeteria was not bad. It had more options than other residences on campus like Elgin and MedSit Hall, but I would have appreciated more healthy alternatives. Susie responded, Elgin has the smallest cafeteria on campus, so my roommates and I always had to cross the street to MedSit to grab food. The food options at Elgin were very limited, and most of the food they served were always super unhealthy. The second question we asked was, do you think the healthier options are expensive to purchase in your cafeteria? Sylvie said, yes, it is so expensive, trying to buy food that I could actually eat. When I would make a simple salad from the salad bar, it always ended up being $12 to $15, and realistically, I could make the same thing at home for a lot less. Chris stated, yeah, it was. Every time I tried to buy a small plate of fruit, it was very pricey and not worth it, so I gave up on buying it. Susie said, yes, in first year, I ate less nutritious foods because it was a lot more expensive compared to other things, like fries. The third question we asked Chris and Susie was, did you gain weight in first year? If so, approximately how much? Chris said, I gained 7 pounds in first year. I was shocked, but it really shouldn't have surprised me because of the diet I had when I lived in residence. I had french fries and burgers at my fingertips that I could never resist. Susie stated, I actually didn't gain weight in first year, but I heard some of my friends at Western gained almost 7 to 10 pounds. It's probably because of how easy it is to access junk food from the caf. Finally, we asked them if they wanted to add anything before we concluded our interview. Sylvie, I have a friend living at Brescia and their caf is amazing. I would love for residents on main campus to have more vegetarian and vegan alternatives like they do. Susie, Elgin's caf has to be changed as soon as possible. It needs to have a better variety of food so that students living there don't have to go elsewhere to grab meals. Chris, in general, I think Western can do a way better job at providing healthier alternatives for a cheaper price. What should be done about this? Can it be prevented, stopped, or should it be allowed to exist so long as the harm is reduced? And how would we do these things? It can be hypothesized that it is due to the lack of support when transitioning to university, the high food costs in resident cafeterias, and the lack of variation in school cafeterias. It is imperative for university to take a greater interest in students' health and assist them in their transition when moving away from home. The 9 on-campus student residences around UWO campus needs to recognize the sources available on campus and do a greater job raising awareness for it. FRESH is an asset to the hospitality services at Western. It is a multi-strategy nutrition education program to build awareness of healthy eating, which can help influence the campus's food service environment. FRESH provides students the resources and knowledge they need to make healthy food choices in order to sustain a healthier lifestyle. In addition, it helps students increase food literacy skills on resident, so students can make healthier choices if possible. Did you know Western Eatery has a program called Net Nutrition? A lot of people on campus are not aware of this resource that is available to all students. Net Nutrition, which provides nutrition information on the foods being served. It also allows students to view menus and compare the selections. This application can grant students the access to a vast nutritional database, so they can be more educated on the food they are consuming. This can result in many of these students following an unhealthy diet due to the types of foods resident cafeterias tend to offer, leading to weight gain. One of these strategies could be redistributing the costs on other products sold in cafeterias. For example, if there is a 15% price decrease on the cost of healthful foods, this could lead to a 15% increase on low-nutrient, high-calorie options. In addition, different types of fruit and vegetables have differing nutritional attributes. Ideally, consumers need to be encouraged to eat fruits and vegetables with a range of nutritional characteristics. UWO campus needs to recognize the importance of providing a wide range of foods that accommodates to all students' preferences. 3. Exercise. First-year students have to deal with the struggles of adapting to a new schedule, deadlines, and people. Exercising is often neglected in university students, and they showed high incidence of sedentary time in university students, mainly on weekend days. Recently, Western Campus Recreation added additional costs to group exercises. This can inhibit students from getting active with friends. It is imperative for the university to reconsider the additional costs.
In addition, Western needs to increase awareness of the importance of exercise. An initiative Western residences can take on is to have group exercises. It is proven that group exercises can have a profound effect on individuals. In the research study called Peers' Influence on Exercise Enjoyment, a self-determination theory approach, it concluded that exercising with peers can increase motivation, enjoyment, and to be more committed to exercise. Overall, gaining weight in the first year of university is a prevalent problem that students face. Change of diets when going to university is inevitable. However, gaining weight can be prevented if the university provides better support for the students in terms of 1. Lowering food costs, 2. Increase variation on campus eatery, and 3. Promote the importance of exercise.